Today, we're going to break down a system that's designed to take one of the biggest headaches for adult foster care homes, all that compliance stuff, and basically put it on autopilot. This is pretty cool, so let's just dive right in. You know the drill, right? If you're running an AFC home, your life is probably a constant juggle. You're trying to keep track of schedules, remember when the next fire drill is, and hound every single staff member to make sure their training hasn't expired. It's a lot. It's practically a full-time job on its own. But just what if it didn't have to be like that? What if all of that chaos could just run in the background? Imagine setting it up just one time, and then actually trusting that all those moving parts are being handled, day in and day out, without you having to worry. Well, that's the big promise we're going to explore.
All right, first up, the setup. And the key word here is simple. The whole idea is to get everything humming along in one single pass, so you can pretty much set it and forget it.
Now, when we say simple, we mean it. This isn't about some complicated coding or anything. It's really just plugging in some basic info into a tool like Airtable. First, you just enter your drill dates for each home. Then you add your staff's training info and when it expires. After that, you list the phone numbers for each house and the best times to call. And finally, you either type out or record the quick messages you want the system to play. That's it. You're basically just giving the system its instructions all at once. Okay, so you've done that one-time setup. Now for the fun part. Part 2, putting the system on autopilot. This is where you get to see all those daily tasks just start happening on their own. So let's take something like a daily check-in call. The system, all by itself, checks the schedule 3 times a day. When it sees a call is due, it uses a service, something like Twilio, to automatically dial the number. The staff member on the other end just listens to the message and presses a button to confirm they got it. And boom! The second they do that, the call status is logged right back into your Airtable. Instantly. No more phone tag, no more manual checklists. And the system is super proactive, especially for the really important stuff like fire or tornado drills. A full week before a drill, it sends out an automatic email and a text to the manager and staff. Then, one day before, it sends one last little nudge. So by the time drill day actually rolls around, everybody knows it's coming. It totally gets rid of that whole, "oh, I forgot" excuse for these critical safety events. And what about staff training certifications? You know, that other huge compliance headache? Well, the system is just relentless here in the best way possible. Every single day, it scans every single training date for every single staff member. A full 30 days before a certification is about to expire, it automatically pings that staff member directly. And hey, if they don't respond or take action, it loops in the manager. This one feature alone closes a massive compliance loophole. So you might be thinking, okay, automation is great, but do I lose control? Not a chance. Which brings us right to part 3, control and oversight. You are always in the driver's seat, and this is huge, you're always ready for an audit. Let's play out a real-world scenario, because things always change, right? A drill date has to get moved, or you need to shift a daily call time. What does that look like? This slide right here is the real game changer. The old way, it's pure chaos. It's a flurry of phone calls, updating who knows how many calendars, sending out manual reminders, and just hoping, just praying that everyone actually got the memo. The new way? You go into your Airtable, you change the date in one little box, and that's it. You're done. The entire system just instantly adjusts. No chaos, no confusion. And because the system is doing all the work, it's also logging all the work. What that gives you is complete and total visibility into everything that's happening. And it means that at any given moment, you are completely ready for an audit. So when an auditor shows up and says, "show me your daily check-in logs for the last month," you don't have to start sweating and digging through binders. You just pull up a clean, simple digital log that looks just like this. It shows the date, the home, exactly what happened with the call, and whether it was confirmed. It's clean, it's time-stamped, and it's basically undeniable proof that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So let's pull all of this together in our final section, part 4, the hands-off advantage. This is really about that big shift from constant, stressful management to calm, reliable compliance. So what does your world look like after this? Well, it's a home that just runs more smoothly. Those daily calls, they just happen. Staff training issues, they get flagged way in advance. Safety drills, they're perfectly planned with everyone reminded automatically. Your job completely changes from being the person who has to do everything to the person who just oversees everything. You only have to step in when something actually changes. I think this quote from the source material just nails it. The goal here isn't just to automate a few things. It's to make the entire workflow something that's truly hands-off, totally compliant, and maybe most importantly, just reliable. And really, that leads us to the most important question of all. With a system like this taking care of the constant busy work of compliance, just think about how many hours you'd get back every single week. What would you actually do with all that extra time? Would you invest it back into resident care? Into better training for your staff? That's the real payoff here. Something to think about.